Welcome back to those of you that have been here before, and to the newbies, welcome. This is not my usual place of recording. I usually record at work, but I've been homebound this week because my dog is very ill, so I am on 24-hour surveillance. I'll show you some video footage of him if you like later on in the video. I just wanted to jump on here to talk about something which popped up. The question is aimed at the birthmark community, people with a facial birthmark or with a large birthmark anywhere on their body really. I just want to kind of get your opinion on something. In later videos I will talk more in depth about how my life has been affected or molded or possibly different because I was born with a port wine stain, but I want to do it properly, and so I don't want to do it in my living room and sitting on my 2-year-old daughter's chair. I'd rather do it organised and proper. I would just like to pose the question to anyone out there who has an obvious visual difference to the norm, whether that be a birthmark or someone with a facial disfigurement of any sort, even a body disfigurement. There's this question that I pose to you. How would you prefer people to react when it comes down to children? Now, the reason I ask this is because I have many times over the years had children just very blatantly asking, "What's that on that man's face?" When I was younger, it made me feel awkward, but I'll get into that into another video. But what did bother me was the reaction of the parents to the children. And the only reason it bothered me was because they exuberated awkwardness. I come from the belief that knowledge is key. So our little humans on the planet who are growing and discovering new things are constantly asking questions, and so to react in a way which prevents them from learning in that situation just seems a little bit counterproductive. Now, I appreciate that in a social environment, often in the supermarket, for example, if little Timmy asks Mama, "What's that on that guy's face?" or "What's that on that man's face?" Sandra's going to be like, "Timmy, don't. To which Timmy will probably feel a bit confused, and if anything, he now has an innate fear of people that look different. Or say, for example, he's asking what my birthmark is. Now when he sees people with a birthmark, all he knows is to not talk about it. This creates a taboo, and the taboo creates stigma, and the stigma is a pain in the ass. It's bollocks. I'll never forget when I was in my early 20s, I was in a supermarket and the little boy in front of me asked his mother, "Mummy, what's that on that guy's face?" The mother turned to the kid and said, "Oh, I think it's a birthmark, honey." And then she looked up at me and was like, "Is it a birthmark?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that was it. And as complicated as that, but she was confident and she just provided the boy with the answer, referred to me to make sure that she wasn't giving wrong advice. I've seen on social media people with port wine stains getting very frustrated and angry with other people, and I completely appreciate this. I think I've been very fortunate with my birthmark story, which again I'll go into at a later date, but this anger and animosity towards people and their reactions, it kind of only fuels the ignorance, do you know what I mean? Which is why I'm a little bit confused and apprehensive to even, I don't know if I'm being a bit flippant. Am I being a bit too chill about it? Should I be getting angry? I get that everybody is different, and because of people's experiences, different people will have different levels of sensitivity about the subject. But if you do have a birthmark on your face and you're not getting rid of it, I just think, as difficult as it is, it makes it harder by not talking openly about it if someone asks. I can't imagine a scenario where a child would ask someone with a disfigurement or a facial difference where the person would feel that the child is being rude. Maybe I'm just too fucking sheltered. I don't know. I know that a lot of people with birthmarks on their face have a difficult story because of it, and it's definitely shaped me in a lot of ways, but I know that I'm one of the lucky ones, if you like. So I appreciate that I've got a lot of privilege already, you know, let alone being a white man raised in Europe. Bloody microphone. I think what I'm trying to say is I don't want to disrespect the birthmark community. Even if only 5 people watch this that have a port wine stain, I don't want any of them to feel like I'm disrespectful to them, which is why I kind of want to pose this question to and get as much information to the community, from the community, before I post my story about my birthmark and me. I guess I haven't spoken to many people one-on-one about what they went through. I just kind of have an outsider's look onto it. And because my birthmark hasn't bothered me for such a long time now, like throughout my 30s, I don't think it's ever, and I'm 36, I don't think it's ever really bothered me. I only really had issues with it in my teens and my 20s, and they were quite significant, but I always came from the place that, you know, if someone asks you, oh, what's that on your face? It'll be, oh, it's just a birthmark, which I don't think is the right response, but I'll get into that another time. I definitely would never, and never did, get angry from the question. Is that because I never had many negative experiences with it? Like really negative experience with it from external sources. I think I can count on one hand the amount of times that I got bullied, or had, not even bullied, just had idiots say certain things, or it was pointed out in a negative way. I mean, I could remember those a few times, but I don't think it affected me that badly to the point where I was angry at myself or angry at the birthmark, or do you know what I mean? And I guess that if you've lived a life full of anguish because of your birthmark, you might have a more hostile approach when somebody does ask you about your birthmark. I just feel like I don't feel like that would help. Again, like I said, I'm coming from a privileged perspective, right? Yeah, that's really all this video is about. I just want to bring that question to light, and I'll ask again, how would you prefer parents to react to their children when asking them, what's that on that man's face? What happened to that woman's face? Or as blunt as the child may say it, because they're children, I feel like they get a bit of a pass at that age, but how would you want the parents to react? That's the question that I'm asking. I want an insight into what the best scenario would be. Obviously, we don't want them to be rude. Obviously, we don't want to feel awkward, but we might feel that anyways. This aspect of my channel, talking about birthmarks and a port wine stain and growing up with it, wasn't something I initially thought I was going to go down. I didn't think I was going to go down that route, and I don't know how much I'm going to talk about it, but I'm definitely going to do a video talking about my history with having a birthmark and how it molded me and shaped me, because it definitely did, and I appreciate that more now when I think about it, looking back, and I am looking forward to opening that whole chapter again, and who knows, I might even discover some new shit that I hadn't thought about. Amazing. It's just been a pleasure. Yeah, I don't usually say this anymore, but subscribe and like and follow, and wish my dogs all the best because they're not very well. If you want to watch a hilarious video about anger management and triggers and how you can relieve them, watch this. It's too good. It's too good. And if by chance you've got ADHD and you want to try medication, try that one. Fuck it. Merry Christmas. See you later. Cheers.